So how much time do you spend researching the history of criminality and particular criminals throughout time, the time of this show in particular?
Yeah, mostly, some of the characters are taken from things that have happened in real life. We've had, the stew maker was a real criminal who was in prison in Mexico. I'm trying to think, we've had other, like the troll farmer was a network, this is long before sort of fake news. We had the troll farmer who was a group of people who were sort of putting out fake information so you could subvert attention so a crime could happen somewhere else. So a number of the blacklisters have their root in some sort of article that we've read or something that's happening.
When you see, a lot of times you'll see Aram at the computer desk, Harry is next to me, Harold Cooper is next to me, overseeing, and we're on the phone with Liz and Wrestler or Samar in the field, and between takes, it's me and him. There's my research. We talk a lot.
My brother's been in law enforcement, or was in law enforcement. He's now the head of security for his college alma mater campus. And by the way, it's the fourth safest campus in America. Greenville University is the fourth safest college campus. You never heard of it probably, but that's how good he is at his job. And before he was there, it wasn't on the radar. That said, I'm also dear friends with many FBI agents and former agents, particularly the African American special agents, the AASA. They have given me a lot of information. Mostly they solve crimes like the old-fashioned way, by going out and interviewing people and beating the pavement and using their technologies now. We obviously have a whole lot more technology these days, but most of those cases nowhere nearly as sleek as it is on the blacklist. Like, we're not in, the FBI agents aren't in those kinds of offices with all of that, with all those bells and whistles. That's Hollywood, but that said, they do a tremendous job and don't get a whole lot of credit.
Yeah, for me, I just, again, I mean, it's, if you've been doing this for a lot of years, you really recognize the writing, and it's wonderful if you go, oh, I can trust this. And then if you do a lot of homework, you trust that writing.
And with your engagement on Twitter and with the miscellaneous social media with your extremely dedicated fans, do you feel that supports your character choices and your roles in any way?
Well, I would say, the writers really decide the character choices.
Right.
We're in service to that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of opinions out there, and it's funny. I was like, I feel like they should be tagging the writers, but they tend to tag the actor playing the part. They're like, "Why would you do that, Aram?" Amir Arison. I was like, ask John.
The face.
Last night, my character's in a sort of a tough spot with Samar and not knowing how to help her and protect her and trying to do the right thing, and it's kind of there's no way to win the situation as her health is declining. There's ways to do the right thing, but which avenue do you take? I just put out on Twitter, I said, Aram could use some help. What would you suggest? And I loved it. I literally read 1,000 comments of what to do, what not to do, different, opposite advice. And I was reading it, I was like, wow, I've actually thought of all these things and had to kind of find my way and navigate within the writing and the choices. So we have to be in service of the writers, but it is sort of fun to kind of see how other minds work.
Information that you accumulate as you go, it continues to fill things out and deepen the part and deepen the relationships, which to me are, everything, the relationships as they are in life. I don't go around as Glen, that's for sure. But the interesting thing is I have noticed on days where I've had a lot of words and speeches and a lot of scenes where I've had a long day on the show. This stuff tends to get in your body because you're actually doing it and you're repeating it. You're doing several takes sometimes, and I'll come home and my wife will say, why are you so loud tonight? She said, you're so loud and you're just talking nonstop. And it's just like, you're saying things that are almost inappropriate. It's like, what is that about? I'm like, oh, okay. I get it. Yeah, it kind of a little bit of Glen got into me, and hasn't quite gone on vacation yet.
Yeah, I would say the opposite. I tend to talk low, and everybody's saying speak up. And then I know the other challenge for me also is when, and I know it's not an issue for this show, but if I audition for something else, I find it very hard to break out of just the physical mannerisms of Dembe, the tone and the cadence of Dembe, and it takes a lot more work to do that, to step into other shoes, because I've been doing this so long.
With your work on this show, focusing on Liz as your sort of main character, and with your work on Taking Lives, and you have a lot of sort of female-focused stories.
Yeah.
And how do you feel about the way that having stories that are, headed off by women now is affecting both the way that film and television are being produced and what people are willing to put money toward, and toward what stories are being told?
Yeah, it's interesting. It's very wild to watch it happen. It's a healthy and fascinating thing to watch happen in Hollywood. Like I had mentioned in the panel, I remember pitching stories that had female leads, both Taking Lives and The Call was a story that I did with a buddy, Rich DeVideo. Perfect Stranger, it was a Halle Berry movie. And I remember, again, this is 15, 20 years ago, but I remember it sort of being whispered to me that we don't do those. Those movies don't really get made. Audiences don't come out for them. There's not a big, it's a smaller group of cast that you're able to bank the movie with. And I thought it was ridiculous. I thought, why am I, it still sometimes can be frustrating. And so I think it's a healthy thing that is happening. We're trying hard to, both with female directors on our show and in the casting. It's a little awkward being up there with a bunch of dudes, we were sort of missing some of the females there. But I don't know. I just think it's, with Liz and telling the story through her point of view, we're trying and trying to. We talked to Megan about this a lot. Sort of who her character is, how she responds. It's baked into the cake of the show is a little bit of a hiccup in that. Red is sort of the master criminal who has all the answers and all the secrets, and oftentimes I'm sure it feels like she's 2 steps behind and she should be operating in a different way. But that's the DNA of the show. If she's 6 steps ahead all the time, the answers, the show kind of comes unraveled, and so that can be frustrating for us at times. But I think we've really worked hard to put her in the driver's seat this season specifically and the end of season 5, and hopefully we'll continue to build that out. What is different from 5 to 6 is that for the first time Liz is sort of ahead of Reddington, and she has this secret. She knows that she's the one who turned him into the police and knows his true identity, and that is a shift, a shift in who's ahead of who, and it is going to make for some really great episodes in the back half of the season.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you like this video, be sure to hit the like button below and leave a comment. And to see more videos like this, click subscribe. Be sure to check back every week for more exclusive content.